What is going on, everyone? We're back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this New York Yankees squad because they're a really interesting team heading into 2024. So obviously taking a look at their team last year, they went 82-80, which, for the Yankees is probably under par, which is kind of funny to even say because they're just such a good team every single season. I mean, the New York Yankees in the past have always had a positive record and they've always continued this streak, I think for like 25 years now or something crazy like that. Yeah, their last negative season was 1992, which is pretty crazy to think about. They went 76 and 86, and then since then they've had a positive record since. Doesn't really matter how many games they've really played, it's always been positive, which is just crazy to think about because the game has changed so much since all those years ago. So it's pretty impressive to see that. So heading in this team next year, they do look pretty solid. I think on paper they have made a decent amount of moves, which I think will propel this team into another playoff I think position. They're gonna have to fight for it though because there are a lot of good teams in the AL. I mean, I do think it is possible for them to get back in there. That 2023 season kind of reminds me of 2016 where the team went 84-78. The next year they come out, look really solid in 2017, and honestly probably would have beat the Astros if they weren't cheating, and then the World Series, who knows what that happens. So I think it's going to be a very similar season in my opinion. So if we just take a look at some of the moves they made, obviously we start out with Marcus Stroman right here. I mean, this was a pretty good move, I thought, getting another really good right-handed pitcher in your bullpen. Obviously they get him for 2 years with a vesting option, so we'll see what happens in that third year. But man, 2 years, Marcus Stroman's been solid. He's been a great pitcher. I've loved him when he was on the Cubs, for example, and I'm really excited to see him moving forward. So now this is their new starting rotation. Gerrit Cole, Carlos Rondon, Marcus Stroman, Nestor Cortez, and Clark Schmidt is your new top 5 starting rotation for the New York Yankees. And honestly, it's pretty solid right now. I mean, Cole just came off that Cy Young season, right? So he's going to be solid for next year for sure. Obviously, Nestor Cortez is coming off that injury, so we're going to hopefully see if he's back up to form like we know he is. Carlos Rondon, he's got to have a bounce back season, man. The first year on the Yankees was not really it for him. I think he's going to come with a bounce back season. We'll see how he does in spring training to start off, but I think he's going to come back and have another good year. I think he's going to realize the mistakes he made, and we're going to see where he goes from there, because if he has another bad season, man, it's just going to be disappointing for him, and I don't even know, they might just cut him, because 2 bad seasons in a row on his, I think he has had a 5-year deal, so it's just not looking good if he has another bad season. Obviously, Marcus Stroman comes into the squad, had a great season last year, kind of fell off a little bit in that second half, unfortunately. Man, I think he's going to bounce back, and he's going to do just fine. And then Clark Schmidt is going to be rounding out their 5th starter, so this squad looks really good on paper. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do, and I think this is a solid rotation heading into this season. So this tweet as well from Yankees Moves, I just kind of wanted to highlight it. This is all the offseason, decisions they've made. They've obviously got 3 left-handed hitters in all outfielders with obviously Juan Soto, Trent Grisham, and Alex Verdugo. So there you go. A lot of good outfield options. The outfield situation is a little bit interesting. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But then they also picked up a left-handed pitcher, obviously, and then 3 right-handed pitchers right there. This is kind of what they needed to do this offseason. I wonder if they're going to make any more moves because there's still a lot of guys out there, but they have, spent a decent amount of their budget. So we're going to see if they make any more moves. But the team right now, I think, is looking really solid. So if we go over to their financial situation, these numbers are without the Stroman contract right now. So that's just something you got to take into accountability. It is currently $191.4 million. If you add on the $18.5 million that Stroman's getting, it's probably like 2 something. The Marcus Stroman contract would run you around $109.9 million. And then if you take in their arbitration costs and everything, it's $277 million. Adding in that Marcus Stroman contract leaves you with $295.5 million, which is absolutely insane to think about. $300 million team almost this season. So that is going to be pretty insane to think about. We'll see what the finalized numbers are once the season actually starts and we get all the actual contracts in here and confirmed. Man, it is a lot of money, but they're also still paying that Josh Donaldson buyout and the Aaron Hicks buyout as well for at least this season. So that's something to keep in count as well. That's about $18 million not playing on the team, which is not really what you want to do. This team looks really interesting. I wonder what their starting lineup is going to look like because they have a lot of options to go with. Obviously Rizzo coming back. We'll see how he's going to do. He's still got another year with this squad and then a team option, so who knows if they'll extend him. I feel like a guy like DJ LeMahieu might have another pop-off season. I don't know, we'll kind of take it from here. Obviously Stanton's still here for a minute, and then you obviously got the whole outfield situation, which is really weird. I want to talk about this because I don't really know what their outfield's going to be. They have like 7 outfielders, which is kind of insane to think about. Let's go through this outfield situation. They obviously have Alex Verdugo on this team, probably going to start in that left field, but this is the thing. They also have Cabrera out there. They also have Judge could play, Trent Grisham, Jason Dominguez, obviously Soto, and Stanton. So they have like 7 or 8 guys that could play the outfield just looking at their roster, which is kind of insane to think about. That's why the Verdugo trade really didn't make sense to me. me because they already got the left-handed hitter they needed with Soto and Grisham. So it's a little interesting on what this outfield's going to look like, to be honest. I imagine Judge, Stanton, or Soto are going to be right field guaranteed every game, probably. One of those three will be playing that. This makes Stanton probably not have to play the outfield anymore, which is probably a good thing for the Yankees, to be all the way honest. So you can probably take him out of the equation. But you probably have Judge playing center. You probably got Soto in right, and I would imagine you have Verdugo in left. Dominguez, I really don't know where he plays, honestly. I mean, looking at it, he's a really good player, and he was really good last year, but I don't even know if he's going to play. I don't know, maybe they'll switch around. They'll run like a four-man outfield, maybe. I really don't know what they're going to do about that. That's why this Verdugo trade doesn't make much sense, because you could put Dominguez in left if you didn't have him, and you could put Judge in center, Soto in right, Stan could DH. That's why it's a little interesting on what's going to happen with this team. That's why I thought they were going to get rid of one of these outfielders, maybe, like trade him for something for a pitcher, but they don't really do that ever, so I can't imagine that happening. So that's the only weird situation with me with this Yankees team, is that outfield situation. They're going to have 100 lineups, probably like every other team, but it's going to be interesting to see who's going to play the most. So that's the only weird part about this Yankees squad, but I want to look at their prospects next, because obviously their 2023 prospects had a lot of good guys in this. They're really promising. They were really exciting to watch. They had a lot of good guys. Obviously, if you look at the 2024 prospects, you're going to see that there's a decent amount of guys in here. You know, they got a couple for this season. A lot are in these AA squad, and same with 2025. A lot of guys in that AA squad as well. So very exciting to see that. My big thing is obviously Spencer Jones's 2025, another outfielder. So we'll see what happens with him. Once again, this outfield situation is very interesting as we head into everything. I do think they draft him just in case Judge didn't sign, though, because that was the situation at the time. You know, Arson Judge might have been a thing. So we'll see what happens with there. But their 2024 prospects, all in AA, looks like should be pretty exciting to see. And we'll see what happens when these guys get called up. So this is the New York Yankees for the 2024 season as it stands right now. My personal prediction about this squad is I really do think this team gets into the playoffs. So I do think the Yankees will be fighting for a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division. I do think the Orioles are still going to win the division for next year. They're fighting for a wild card spot. They're fighting with Tampa, Texas. You know, they're fighting with Toronto, Seattle, all the teams last year. But who knows? I mean, even the Twins could be in here next year. Maybe, you know, the Houston, Texas situation, both of those teams will probably make it. So you got to factor into that. The Rays will probably make it again. The team won 100 games like every single season. So imagine they'll get in. So you're really fighting for like a 6th spot right now, if you really think about it, if that does happen in that order, right? But who knows? This team could be really good or they could be really bad. I'm thinking they're going to be really good, though. So I do think they slide in with a like 6th spot, at least looking at it right now. They do have to come back and be a better team and beat the teams they need to beat. So they were, what, the 8th best team? So the 3 division winners, the 3 wildcard teams, and then Seattle was in front of them, and then the Yankees were right there. So we'll see what happens with the Yankees moving forward. I do think they can make a playoff spot, but it is a long season. A lot of time will tell. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everyone.